What is up, my beater bros? Maine-iac here, Monday, March 18th. By the way, check out the channel later. I plan on doing a little bit of Fortnite creative. Some of the new maps. Hopefully, you guys enjoyed that. But let's get into the NBA game picks, because that's why you are here, and that's why you are going to laugh at me, probably. I'm going to probably talk a little bit longer, just because where it is 5:30, so I have some upload time to spare. I'm going to get into depth about at least some of the matchups I like. You got the Pistons at the Cavaliers. Pistons by 5.5. I think they win and cover. Cavaliers a paltry 17-53. Not very commendable 70 games into the season. Maybe they get 20 wins by the end of the year, but I'm not going to bank on it. Pistons, a very quality team. I don't think they'll make a deep playoff push, but I think they definitely have what it takes to upset somebody in the first round. I'm not sure who they'd face. If they end up with the 7th seed, they'd most likely face Toronto. So, could they upset Toronto? I think they could. Would I pick them? No way in hell. But, basketball in a 7-game series with injuries happening, you never know what could happen. So, yeah, I do think the Pistons win and cover that one. I do like the matchup of Love and Griffin, or Love and Drummond, how that works. It's just fun to watch individual matchups, especially in a game like this. I think of Jazz at the Wizards. Speaking of individual matchups, you got Donovan Mitchell versus Bradley Beal. My fantasy team cries at the thought of this one just because I'm hoping that Beal just lights it up and it forces Mitchell to also light it up, because that would really help me. Jazz favored by 5.5. I think they win and cover this one as well. Wizards still alive for the last playoff spot in the East. I think they're 3.5 games behind the Heat, and the Heat face the Thunder today, so they do have an opportunity to gain. But they're definitely one of the teams I think, even if they make it into the first round, they're going to be knocked out quickly. But still, that would be a huge momentum booster, even going into next season, just making the playoffs for a team that went through what they did. And we got the Nuggets at the Celtics. One thing I want to mention about this game is I'm still not sure who to pick. Celtics are favored by 3.5. They are in Boston. I do like the Celtics when they shoot, but Marcus Morris and Marcus Smart and the Celtics put up so many dumb quick threes. It's irritating. Like, if you watch a Celtics game, like, there might be like a 2-minute stretch in almost every game where as soon as the Celtics get the rebound, they run down the court, and within like 3 seconds, they're putting up a three, whether it's contested, without moving the ball around too much, and that's when they start to struggle. The difficult thing about the Nuggets is the Nuggets are anti that. What I mean by that is the Nuggets move the ball around. The Nuggets, they can all shoot. Millsap, extremely good rebounder, extremely good presence. It allows Nikola to really utilize his full skill set as well, because when you have an inside defensive presence and offensive presence like Paul Millsap, it allows a Jokic to maybe go outside, stretch the floor, maybe go inside with a little bit of diversion from Millsap, because if they double team Jokic, because Jokic is a beast, boom, Millsap goes in for the easy bucket. Not to mention you have perimeter shooters like Murray, Harris, or Barton on any given day. The reason why I mentioned those three is if this was a finals preview, let's say the Nuggets upset Denver, let's say the Celtics somehow make it to the NBA Finals, this would be an extremely exciting matchup. You got the Joker versus Al Horford, Millsap versus Morris. It would just be incredible. As for tonight, I'm going to pick the Celtics based off of them playing at home. I think it's going to be an extremely close game, seeing the Celtics fall behind the Kings early on in the last a couple games ago, coming back to win it, and then having a decent lead in the last one, but then almost losing it. It's interesting, but in Boston, the Celtics play a lot better. This is one of those games, I've said it many times before. If this game was played in Denver, I would most likely pick the Nuggets. I'm looking for Millsap and Jokic to absolutely carry the Nuggets in this one. Then we have the Knicks at the Raptors. Raptors by 12.5. They should win and cover. Knicks should be focused on getting a good draft position, I guess, and developing their young players. Heat Thunder, as I said before, Heat looking to get the 8th seed in the playoffs. This is a big game for them. I believe Russell Westbrook is suspended due to his 16th technical. Oklahoma is still favored by 5.5. He very, very likely could upset here, and I think it's hilarious how we have 3 games, 5.5 point favorites. It's pretty funny. I still like Adams in this matchup. I still like Paul George. Schroeder, I think, is an extremely capable replacement for Russell Westbrook. He got opportunity to start the season like that, so I think they'll be fine. Then you get the Warriors at the Spurs. Spurs play a lot better at home. ESPN, 8 p.m. Eastern, 5 p.m. Pacific time, but the Warriors have woken up. They're in the final stretch of the season. I think they go into the playoffs on a roll, get that momentum, and it starts by taking down San Antonio, a very possible playoff opponent. So you don't want them to really build up any momentum. Then you get the Warriors favored by 2. I think that's actually a really reasonable spread. I'm going to pick them to win and cover. You get the Pelicans to the Mavericks. Mavericks by 4.5. I'm going to pick them and cover as well. Pelicans do not play too well on the road. And it's kind of funny to say that if the Pelicans were in the East, they'd still be realistically alive for the playoffs, which is funny. Hopefully Drew Holiday comes back soon. I believe he's out for this matchup as well. Yet again, no eat one more. No, not some of the depth is lacking for the Pelicans. I think that's going to end up being what hurts them. Then you get the Bulls at the Suns. Phoenix by 1. Bulls play relatively well as of late. Zach LaVine having a decent season, but with all the injuries to the Suns, even though they are favored, even though they are at home, and Booker and Ayton are incredible players. You know what? I'm going to pick the Suns here. I was going to pick the Bulls in the upset, but something tells me pick the Suns. Bulls have lost to the Kings by 27, the Lakers by 16, the Pistons by 8, and 23 in the last couple weeks. So I'm going to pick the Suns here. Being Booker and Ayton, I think they'll have good games. And you get the Pacers at the Trailblazers to end today. 10:30 p.m. Eastern, 7:30 p.m. Pacific time. ESPN, Portland's favored by 4.5. This is a big game for the Pacers, mainly for playoff seeding. If you currently look at the playoff seedings as they are now, the Pacers, I believe, are currently 4th in the Eastern Conference. Only a game ahead of the Celtics, so if the Celtics beat the Nuggets and the Pacers fall, that would knock the Pacers to the 5th seed. Realistically, they're safe from falling any further than the 6th seed. Any further than the 5th seed. I mean, mathematically, they could still fall that far, but realistically, they're safe. 76ers have locked a playoff spot. Golden State has locked a playoff spot. A win for Denver would lock them a playoff spot, which would be pretty epic, I believe. A 6-game deficit for Sacramento behind LA, which realistically is too much to overcome. Still think it should be a good game. I'm gonna pick Portland here. I like Damian Lillard, even though CJ McCollum is injured. I like how Lillard and Nurkic can both step up. Pacers being good. If the Pacers are to upset the Trailblazers at home, I'm looking for Bogdanovich and Sabonis and Young to not necessarily have dominant games, but it's more, I'm going to look for them to have games where they do whatever they need to do. If Bogdanovich needs to just stretch the floor, or if he needs to dominate in the paint, or if Sabonis just needs to grab boards, not score much, but just board all day, then if they can do that, maybe they win. But I'm still picking the Trailblazers here because Damian Lillard is a monster. Anyway, guys, thank you for watching. Don't forget to leave a like, comment, subscribe if you are new. I'll see you in the next one. I hope you have a good day. Peace.